Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. Thought I'd take us. Thought I'd take you on a scenic ride out in Fountain Hills, Arizona. It's a community that's set in the foothills of the McDowell Mountains, northeast of the Phoenix area and Scottsdale. Kind of sets out on its own. It's famous for this fountain that you see right in front of us. The entire community was started back in 1970 by the same guy that moved the London Bridge over from London and pieced it back together brick by brick in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. So for decades, this was the tallest fountain in the world at 560 feet or 170 meters. Today, it's the second tallest fountain in the U.S. and the fourth largest, and it's the fourth tallest fountain in the world. So the whole community is kind of built around this fountain. I'll do an overview now on the 2024 Plus wire cruise you see here. Just go over the components and the specs real quick. So we got to start where everything starts with this bike. This 60 volt, 1500 watt nominal motor that peaks at over 3200 watts. Then you've got 203 millimeter rotors front and back, and the 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes made by Gemma. On the back here, you've got a 50-pound rack to hold cargo. This bike has dual suspension. This is the rear suspension. It's a DNM air shock. You can add pressure to adjust for your weight, depending on your weight. 3 levels of adjustment here. That's hard, medium, and softer setting. And you've got a rebound setting here on the red dial. Your 60 volt 45 amp controller is housed in the crank housing right here behind this metal plate. It's also thermal gel filled, potted is what they call it, to help dissipate the heat. So up front you've got RST guide forks. So there's about 8 or 9 levels of micro adjustments that you can do here. And a preload lockout over here on the other side. So up front here you've got a nice through rack, so it goes all the way through. It's pretty thick and robust. It's easier to go ahead and loosen this up and then unthread it counterclockwise and pull that out, and it's easier to change the tire. You don't need any tools to get that tire off there in the event of a flat, which is nice. And of course you've got your 26 by 4 inch fat tires. And these are not the stock tires. These are, let's see if I can get a, yeah, there it is, HEV Allscape 26 by 4 inch. Gold lettering on this particular type. I changed these tires out. They came with Kenda brand Crusade tires. They were knobbies, so I like this tread pattern better. It's thicker, more robust, more thorn protection. I've also I added flat out to both front and back tires when I changed them. We've got a 180 lux front headlight. Okay, so we go up here to the handlebars. You can see the main display. So zooming in on the display, upper left you see the battery percentage. Up here you can show this either in percentage based, 0 to 100, which is what I have it in now, or you can change it to voltage. 100% on voltage is 67.2 volts, and 0% is 51 volts. In the center there you see the light symbol. That's telling me that the lights, I've got the front light on that you'll see here. And when it's blinking, that means that I've turned on the flashing light for the tail light. On the upper right part of the screen, you'll see a temperature gauge for the motor. So right now it's at rest, so it's only showing 143 degrees Fahrenheit. You can also put this to Celsius. And so I like this. It tells me when you're going up a hill and you're putting a lot of demand on that motor, this temperature will rise. It's got a maximum of 355 degrees before it starts to shut down. Self-protect mode. In the middle here, you've got your miles per hour. You can also change this to kilometers per hour, depending on where you live, what you like. Bottom left is your pedal assist, and that's controlled over here on your button cluster with the plus and the minus. I'll go with the plus button, and you'll see it go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 levels of pedal assist, and then you can go down with the minus button. Back down to 0. You can also see you've got a wattage readout, which is excellent. It tells you how many watts that you're pulling at any given time. And over here on the bottom right, you've got the time on the ride, and you've got your odometer. Below that tells you how many miles that you've gone. You can change this to kilometers as well. You've got a standard 7-speed gear shifting mechanism up here on the handlebars on the right side. It's okay, nothing special. It's pretty typical on a lot of e-bikes that are out now. And you've got one of my favorite features is you got a quarter twist throttle right here, which I like, kind of motorcycle style. And you've got ergonomic grips, which allows you to put the palm of your hand here. And these are locked down, so they don't slip or slide on you. Once you secure these, you're good to go. And I've got bar end mirrors on either side. These are Michow bar end mirrors here. They secure with an Allen head screw in the middle. You've got your Gemma 4-piston hydraulic brake levers up here on the left side, and you've got one over here on the right side. So this is a Hellbender 70 headset. This is one of the more robust headsets that you can get for these heavier e-bikes to help prevent some of the wobble aspects that some of these heavier e-bikes have when you've got more weight on the back, like I do on this one with a rear battery. And of course, another one of the stars of the show here is the dual battery system on this bike. You've got a 60-volt, 20-amp-hour battery up front here. You've got a key that goes in right here to release it. You've got a trigger point right here. And then you typically want to turn your wheel there, hit that trigger coming up, and then hold on to this battery and let it fall out. You've got a charging port. You've got a charging port right here. If you want to charge the battery on the bike, or you have the option of removing it and charging it outside the bike. Same for the rear battery. This is a 60-volt, 15-amp-hour battery. You've got a key right here. It's separate from the key that goes up front. And you have to turn this one clockwise to the right, and then pull back on that lip that's up behind here as you turn the key to remove this battery. It's got a charging port right here. You can charge it on the bike. That little piece broke. It's kind of cheap. You've got an 11-tooth by 34-tooth gear system in the back with a Shimano tourney derailleur guard right here. You've also got a chain slap guard right here that's branded wired for those bumps that you hit when this chain hits your frame down here. It doesn't mark it up, so this is a nice feature. It also keeps some of the noise down when you hit those larger bumps. And you've got one of the best features on the bike, this 56-tooth chain ring. That's really great for reducing or eliminating any ghost pedaling at those higher speeds that this bike can do at 38, 43 miles an hour, depending on your weight. So you can still get pedal feel up to those higher speeds in top gear, 7th gear. The only downside of this is it's a single-sided chain guard. It'd be nice if they would have put a dual-sided chain guard, but that could be swapped out if you want. But that'll just help keep this chain on the track and keep it from jumping off and losing your chain on a bigger bump. So I changed the stock wired seat out to a Cloud 9 gel-filled seat. That's really nice. These Cloud9 seats are popular with a lot of e-bikes, and a lot of e-bikers, they tend to change out their stock seats. Some of them are pretty good with some of the manufacturers, but most of them will just give you a middle-of-the-road type of seat. This one I like because it's got some air ventilation in the top as well. And then you also get a quick release system down here for adjustment of your rider height. The community is made up of a series of rolling hills, just like you see here. And they try to blend all the homes as best they can into the natural landscape, the desert landscape. What do we got here? A little bobcat. Wow. A little bobcat? Yeah. You see him around here much? Yeah. Was it? Usually smaller than that, huh? He's back there. That was nice. I thought that was a really big cat for a second. Oh, look at the fountain from up here. Oh, that's nice. Because this is a community of rolling hills, I think it may be a challenge on our dual batteries on this 2024 Plus wired cruiser that we're riding today. But it's such a nice day out, about 77 degrees, bright, sunny. They started building this community 4 years before I moved out to Arizona in 1974. So I remember coming out here when there was just one or two developments near the main road at the entrance, and the fountain was here. That was the first thing that was built. I've chosen a route, kind of a loop around Fountain Hills, maybe hitting the highlights as close to it as we can. It's roughly about a 14-mile loop. So right now we're pulling 1150 watts on this 1500 watt nominal motor that peaks at over 3200 watts. So not much of a challenge for this motor. I keep this bike in the unlocked mode, the unrestricted mode, so I got access to the full power of the motor. This is where it really comes in handy in these steeper, longer hills. So what's really, I consider it a safety factor, is the ability in these intersections, especially the ones with stoplights on busier roads, is to have that throttle fully opened. That's the way I've got mine set, so I can just hit it at that when the light turns green. And it gets me through the intersection pretty much with the rest of traffic, the other cars beside me. And I think that really helps keep me a little safer on these main roads. Plus, it's a good way to get started from a dead stop. All right, finally some downhill. Look at us, we're just coasting. 36, 38. Yeah, topped it out at 38. We'll make a right here and climb up to Adero Canyon, where the resort is. Up the ridgeline. There's quite a few gated communities within Fountain Hills itself for some of the higher end properties. You know, you're talking million-plus homes. You got to pay for this kind of scenery. Motor temperature just came up above 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The motor temperature maxes out at 355. If you ask how I know that, because I've tested it on a couple of occasions where one in particular, out of one of my previous videos, the 5 likes and dislikes of this bike. You can look that up if you have an interest in seeing it. About burned up the motor, but luckily the bike has safety factors built into it, so it'll shut itself down if you aren't paying attention and you get up around 350 degrees. Yeah, so the motor will pretty quickly cool down if you just let off or just reduce the power. Since we're going up and down these hills, and it's a pretty cool day, it shouldn't be an issue. You could see way off in the distance, slightly to the left behind that ridge. Maybe you can. They are building some new homes out here. Now this is the steep hill. Let's let it coast for a bit. Ah, nice. I have not been back here before. This is relatively new. Yes, back in here is where they're building the new homes. It's some pretty huge homes. What do you know, another gated community. This one's open though. That's an invitation to me. So hills like this is where it's good to have a cadence sensor bike like this 2024 Plus Wire Cruiser instead of a torque sensor, because on a cadence sensor bike, all you have to do is turn the wheels to get power. I think we reached the top of the hill. Now my favorite part, the downhill. So usually if you're up at a height like this and you can see the fountain in the middle of Fountain Hills, you can always tell where it is because of how high it shoots up in the air at 560 feet. But it only goes off twice an hour. It goes off for 15 minutes at the top of every hour and at the bottom of every hour. The gate's open, yes. Let's try that. I don't know what's up here. Pretty steep though. We'll pull in 3,260 watts up this hill. Like I said, peaks out at over 3,200 watts. There it is, 3,260. Well, we're going to test out these 4-piston hydraulic brakes. Oh yeah, they're grabbing. These brakes are great. Little bunny. So just outside of this community, it's basically turns into high desert, starts to climb up onto the Mogollon Rim towards Payson, Arizona. But there's going to be a lot of wildlife that roams around through here. Because we're encroaching on their home. They're building these houses out here. We're only down to 80%, 86% on the battery. I thought we would have chewed through more of it by now. That's not bad for some of these steeper hills. So I found a pretty steep bike path here. We'll go down here in this little canyon. Looks pretty cool. I think my video cut off, so I'm not sure whether I got this in or not. I'll go ahead and repeat it. If you're interested in these swirl cactus, give you a little background on them. They can live to over 200 years old, and they don't grow their first arm until they're 70. Like this one here on the left, that's just a baby. That's maybe 75 years old, something around in there. So that's how you can kind of tell their age. Except for that big one up there on the right, that is that's a cell tower that is hiding all of the wires and the ugly bits and parts. So it kind of blends in. What a great trail. So the saguaro cactus, the only place they grow in the world is here in the Southwest and northern Mexico in the Sonoran Desert. What an awesome bike trail. See, this is what you can find when you're out when you have an e-bike and you have this motor that can help you get around in some of these hilly areas like this. You can explore areas like this bike path. You can't take a motorcycle or a car, anything like that in here. So you could just get on one of these e-bikes, get up off that couch, get some exercise, pedal as much as you want to. Don't pedal if you don't want to. Whatever suits you and your physical abilities. But this is a pretty steep, windy turn all the way up, so we're going to have to use a lot of throttle here, but it's going to be fun. Let's go. So to avoid pedal strikes, I try to elevate the pedal that I'm going into the turn with. So this bike sets up kind of high. I don't have to worry about that much, but I try to keep conscious about it so I don't get pedal strikes. Doesn't happen too often. All right, pulling 3,136 watts up this hill. And this is steep. And we're doing 26 miles an hour up a steep hill. Consistent. There's another argument for one of these high wattage motors that you can get on the market. These 60-volt e-bikes, like this wired or an e-cells. Fabulous e-bikes, makes a couple. Starting to get a few more models out there. I'm not sure whether the new Lyric Graffiti X is a 60 volt or a 52 volt. But as far as I'm concerned, the more the merrier. These motors have so much power. And it gets you out on a day like this with a view like this. So Fountain Hills is separated from all of the light pollution here in the valley, or the next closest city is Scottsdale. So this community is part of the international dark sky community. So when you come out here at night on a clear night, you get views of stars that you do not get over there to the right in the Metro Phoenix area. All the burbs. Out where I live, you can't see any stars. Too much light pollution. Not here. It's a community center and a library. Library and museum. With sculptures. These are nice. See the fountain right in front of us. So looks like we got to a place where we can see it. Waves and windows. Very cool benches with a Southwest theme. Veterans Memorial. See Arizona state flag on the left, U.S. flag, and I believe that's a POW flag, but I'm not sure. It's not unfurled. Maybe you can see it. Yes, it's a POW MIA flag. That's nice that they do that. Pay tribute. So we got the fountain going on again. Hey.
And I'm just kind of like walking, didn't pay attention. And I feel air, bro. Like, no bullshit, man. Like, I felt the air and I looked up and this thing was a big body.
You don't get to see that very often.
No, sir. I've been here 7 years walking the. I've seen a photographer got a picture of a bald eagle here, but I never seen one before.
Oh, that's pretty majestic looking.
No, man, from far it looked like a helicopter on a telephone pole. I'm not bullshitting. I was just like, you can't miss this. And I was like telling people, look at it. Like, you can't see it. And he was just eating something. He was just grabbing koi. I must have seen him went to the fountain at least, man, 7 or 8 times.
Well, think of it, he's got an endless supply.
Oh, yeah. They have the best food, no predators.
Well, that was an interesting guy. He had some eagle stories. Bald eagle fishing in the lake by the fountain. That is so cool. Getting ready to turn right on the Avenue of Fountains. What a great name for a street. Right down at the end of it is a big one. Got a lot of shops and restaurants along this street. I have a handicapped sister that I take care of. Thinking about actually moving her up here to this facility here on the left. They have a nursing home portion of that care center there that's pretty highly rated. So I think she would enjoy living up here. And it also gives me a reason to come up and visit this area more than I do. But Fountain Hills is only about 40 miles from where I live, so it's not that bad. Wanted to give a big shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. It helps me continue to do these types of videos and roam around the state of Arizona and finding the best scenic spots and picturesque places to see. Also, if you've gotten anything out of this video, hopefully you've liked some of the scenery today. Found it a little bit entertaining. Appreciate if you could hit that like button as well. So until next time, take care.